When you start scrolling through lift tables on Amazon, the pictures look clean, the price tags are tempting, and the headlines promise you'll never have to wrestle a 2,500-pound crate again. The frustration hits when you finally get the unit home, and the controls feel stiff, the height range is tighter than advertised, or the safety guards don't quite meet the shop floor's OSHA standards. That's why I'm doing this deep dive, so you can skip the disappointment and land on a table that actually lifts the way you need it to. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Vestil EHLT 2448343QS isn't just another piece of metal with a motor stuck on top. It's a 24 by 48-inch platform built for a 3,000-pound capacity, which immediately puts it in the heavy-duty bracket. In the world of hydraulic lift tables, you're usually juggling three competing priorities: how much weight you can lift, how smoothly the height changes, and how safe the operation is for anyone standing nearby. Vestil tries to hit all three by marrying an aluminum pressure-plated hydraulic pump with displacement-style cylinders, and they've wrapped the whole thing in welded steel. The result is a machine that feels solid enough to sit under a loaded pallet of lumber without any wobble, yet the pump's aluminum construction keeps the motor from heating up during extended lifts. So, who really benefits from a table like this? If you run a small to medium woodworking shop, a warehouse that does frequent load and unload cycles, or a manufacturing line where parts consistently sit on a 24 by 48-inch surface, the extra capacity and sturdy frame can shave minutes off every lift. Think about a scenario where you're moving a full stack of sheet metal. Each sheet weighs about 150 pounds, and you need to raise it to a workstation at 48 inches. With a manual chain lift, you'd be spending at least a minute just to get the stack up, not counting the risk of pinching your fingers on the chain. The electric motor on this Vestil table does the work in a few seconds, and because the hydraulic cylinders are displacement type, the motion is steady rather than jerky. That steadiness matters when you're aligning a heavy piece for a precise cut. Any sudden drop could ruin the material or cause an injury. Another practical use case is in a small distribution center where employees need to lift heavy totes onto a mezzanine. The four-sided electric tow guard is a feature that often goes unnoticed in spec sheets, but it actually meets OSHA's pinch point requirements. In real life, that means a worker can stand on the side of the table while the platform raises, without worrying that the moving parts will catch a shoe or a foot. I've seen shops where the lack of a proper guard forces them to redesign their workflow just to stay compliant. So having that built-in saves you both time and a potential citation. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The first thing I noticed in the product videos is the height range. It starts at a low 2 inches and tops out at 48 inches. That's plenty for most tasks. But if you need to lift something higher than a standard workbench, say, onto a 6-foot-high pallet jack platform, you'll have to stack a second lift or use a forklift. Also, the electric motor runs on a standard 120-volt line, which is fine for most shops. But if your facility only has two 40-volt outlets, you'll need an adapter or a separate power line. The pump's aluminum housing is great for heat dissipation, yet it also means the unit is a touch heavier than a purely steel-only design, which can make moving the table around on its built-in wheels a bit of a chore when it's fully loaded. Another point that can catch new buyers off guard is the control interface. The table uses a single push-button panel with up/down arrows and a digital readout for height. It's intuitive once you get the hang of it, but the button travel is deliberately firm to prevent accidental activation, something you might mistake for a flaw if you're used to soft-touch controls. In practice, that firmness is a safety benefit. You won't have the platform creeping up if a stray finger brushes the button. Let's weigh the practical strengths against the weaknesses in a nutshell. The strengths are the massive 3,000-pound capacity, the reliable welded steel frame, and the OSHA-compliant tow guard that lets workers operate the table from any side. The hydraulic pump's aluminum build keeps the motor cool during long shifts, which translates to fewer downtime incidents. The displacement cylinders give you a smooth, controlled lift that's essential when you're handling delicate assemblies or aligning components for welding. On the flip side, the height limit caps at 48 inches, so you'll need a secondary solution for higher elevations. The unit's weight, while a sign of durability, can make repositioning a bit cumbersome. And because the table runs on 120V, you'll have to verify that your shop's electrical layout can support the continuous draw without tripping breakers. Those aren't deal breakers, but